Welcome to part 2 of old sports of the day. Sorry, getting my show names mixed up, unfortunately. We were about 2 topics in. I talked about that basketball game last night and the Big 12 basketball picture. All of that. Next thing is the Big 12 tournament. I'm very centric on the conference of the team that plays for the school that I go to. And that tournament is coming up. I don't see Kansas winning it because they do tend to get upset. Granted, there are fewer to no injuries this year, where last year our best player was out in Joel Embiid, and there was just no hope past the end of the season. Like past the end of the regular season, I just didn't see KU pulling off anything. Whereas this year, it really does look like they have room for improvement and might get better in March. It is March right now, actually, so they might get better as the season continues and might have a deeper tournament run. Hopefully a run that makes it at least to the Sweet 16, because let me tell you, is it 3 straight years? It's been 3 years since the last Final Four. And I know that's an incredibly, spoiled thing to say. Oh, we haven't been to a Final Four in 3 years, whereas, another team, just to pick a team name out of a hat, like, I don't know, Missouri, has never, ever been to a Final Four. Random team. And I could pick anybody else. I don't think, Northwestern's ever been to a Final Four. I don't think, has Illinois? Yeah, Illinois has been to one. My brain legitimately went to the 40s when I thought of Illinois basketball. And I was like, yeah, did they have it? It was the NIT back then, where they playing in the Square Garden? Madison Square Garden? I don't know why I called it the Square Garden. Square Garden seems like a really, low-budget, very cheap imitation Italian food eatery that you'd find in some college town. Like, everybody goes there to eat because it's open till 2 a.m. and you can get a giant ass box of pasta for $3, and it's like, yeah, man, we're going to Square Garden, baby. Ah, shit. Well, things are moving on. Anyway, what was I talking about? The Final Four. A lot of teams haven't been to a Final Four. In the Big 12, I can think of most of them. Primarily Kansas State has also never been to a Final Four. Texas Tech obviously has never. Baylor, and I'm hoping for Baylor. Baylor's like the one team I just want to see because it's always really funny when Baylor's successful in men's basketball. Because they're so good at women's basketball, and the men's team is just almost there, and I can't get it. Remember that year they made it to the Elite Eight and lost to Duke? That was the saddest I've ever been at the end of a basketball game that I didn't particularly care about. I was just like, God damn it. I wanted to see Baylor in the Final Four, just because that makes it all better. Just to see a weird-ass team like Baylor, especially this year. So they play that zone. They're a good team. They honestly could turn some heads come March, even though it is already March. Come later in the month, probably be like a 5th or 6th seed, or they could very well. Oh God, my body is betraying me. They could very well go out in the first round. Either way, that could be a Kansas thing too. KU could go either very deep, or could just lose in the second round again to, I said Tennessee at the beginning of the year, but I don't think they're going to make the tournament, so I'm going to guess it'll be a major team, mid-level team from a big conference, probably a 7 seed. Let's say Providence. Somebody like that. So, yeah, this team's really one of the worst to win. Granted, I say the worst, but it's really not a bad. I mean, it's a very good team. I mean, they won the league, so calling them a bad team is obviously incorrect. It's not. I wouldn't say this has been one of the most tentative teams to watch, and they've been very streaky. They've been very good and very bad. The best player is a sophomore. Well, their best player is a junior point guard or power forward named Perry Ellis. And people, it's weird. Like college basketball Twitter is one of my least favorite places because people have like 3 jokes, and one of them is that Perry Ellis looks like he's older than 21. Which I can actually confirm that he was in high school when I was in high school because my high school team played him in his high school team in the Kansas State Championship, like semifinals or something, and they beat us by like 30 or something like that. I mean, it was crazy. It was just absolute destruction. Because he was really good. And so is this team. Do I trust the pitch to the right? So often I get a big play and then I just can't get anything past that. They figure me out and it's just like, okay, they know what I'm doing. I keep forgetting to not run to the right all the time because the plays in the Madden 2002 playbook, almost all of them by default run to the right, and you can flip the play if you don't want to go to the right, and if you want to like turn some heads or whatever, mess with their minds, or just not get tackled at the line because everybody knows you're going right. But I keep forgetting that because I'm a very forgetful man who also cannot control his lips. Topic 4. Well, actually, topic 3 is Big 12 tournaments because there's also a women's tournament coming up that I will be in attendance for tomorrow. That's right. The first round game between the 8th and the 9th seed, the Kansas State Wildcats and the Kansas Jayhawks, at 6 p.m. on Fox College Sports. So look for me in the crowd. That'll be an interesting game. Can't see a turnout to go in our favor. It's not a good punt there. But I will be on TV. I believe it's just Fox College Sports or something like that. So if they pan over the band, you may well see me in the trombone section. I'll be the guy wearing blue. That's a joke. I just wore tuxedos to the last game, which I thought was nice. Thomas, come up with that. They're not throwing to Seahorn, which is bizarre. I never thought of Jason Seahorn as that good of a player, like a Richard Sherman caliber, like don't throw to the left side of the field player, but he's getting the job done. Strahan with no sacks, unfortunately. We have 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, and we just got to stop him from scoring, I guess. Ah, there's Joe Horn. Okay. So he is on this team. In NFL news, we do have a weird-ass trade that I don't understand at all. Philadelphia Eagles have traded LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso of the Buffalo Bills, both of which are high-caliber players. And Kiko is a younger player than McCoy, and I mean he has shown some flashes of having what it takes to be a truly excellent linebacker. He's a great athlete. People in Buffalo seem to love him. He was out all of last year, but to trade him for the guy who, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's your franchise player. I mean, LaShawn McCoy is the one player that I think of when I think of the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I think Nick Foles also, but less so. I'm kind of upset that it's getting more and more obvious now that they're definitely going to just be done with Nick Foles, that they're giving up on him pretty much officially now. Because he was a fine player, and I mean, just because they brought in he got hurt last year, and they brought in Mark Sanchez, but he was doing a pretty damn good job. I mean, man, god damn it, Tiki Barber, just God, make it past the line of scrimmage, Tiki. And a lot of my failure here is only going to Ask Madden. Hashtag free Ron Dane. That's Kiki. I mean, I'm gonna throw it because I want to get the first down. I know I should be focused on running the clock out here, but I mean, Tiki Barber gained no yards. In fact, lost 2 on both plays. And to be fair, that was play calling mistakes, blocking mistakes too. I mean, dang it, Kerry. Okay. Trying to hit Jurevicius over the center, but I got sacked. Ball never came out. So, they're going to get another chance. Damn. Haven't scored a point since the first quarter, which I think is typical of me. I'm successful, and then I see myself being successful, and then I'm like, oh, that's not right. I shouldn't be doing that. And I go and just automatically start messing up. That's what you get from me. Yeah. That's just a bizarre trade anyway, back to speaking about that. It's not anything... I am surprised. I was going to say I'm not surprised, but I really am surprised that you would trade a player of that caliber. And I know last year wasn't his best year. It really wasn't the best year for the Eagles in general. And you are trading an older player for a younger player, one who, especially as a running back, you know, it take a toll. I mean, a running back goes out of the league on average faster than most other players in the league. Having a young, talented linebacker who, to be fair, their coach does know. I mean, Kiko Alonso was an Oregon player. He was a great Oregon player. One thing I am a little worried about is just them going after so many Oregon players. Very few coaches. I can think of one coach who went to the National Football League and just said, like, hey, here's all this stuff that worked. Here's all these guys who worked for me when I was coaching in college. I'm going to see if they can work for me in the pros. And that guy was Steve Spurrier. And he was notably out pretty quick. And to be fair, I think Steve Spurrier was really just trying... I think he saw the wrong things in some of his players. Danny Werfel was the type of quarterback who was going to be successful in college and nowhere else. Shane Matthews was kind of the same way. Didn't really have... You know, he was a system quarterback overall. I know I've used that term multiple times in this episode to talk about many different players, but Shane Matthews really was the epitome of a system quarterback. I mean, he was great he tore up the Southeastern Conference with the Florida Gators what do they call it? They called it like the Fun and Gun or something like that, which is just a fancy name for like, hey, we're the school that passes. And I mean, he had some great teams in Florida, but he brought players in to try to run his system. And, damn it. Shit. Okay, well. I really thought he overthrew him there. Let me have an overtime going on here. I'm glad I got to him, though, because if at all possible, I may be able to stop him. The question here is... No, I'm not going to let... I was about to say the question here is whether or not I just let them score, but I'm not going to do that, because I am, like, you got a minute. I'm just trying to stop you from getting to the end zone. Of course, getting to the running back in the backfield would be nice. I'm going to blitz. We're inside the goal line, so there's really no point of going like with prevent or anything like that, because, I mean, what am I going to prevent? 10 yards? And I mean, prevent is a defense that basically can get you 10 yards if that's the way you want to play it. Oh, damn. Gotta just keep tabs on Ricky out of the backfield. Now here we are at the goal line, so they have a formation already set up for me. I don't even have to think about that. So, yes, I hope Chip Kelly doesn't become like Steve Spurrier did his 2 years in Washington. I hope he's not just trying to recreate whatever he had at the college level, because many times we've seen that tried, and many times we've seen that fail. The only difference here is that I know that Kiko Alonso had a really good rookie season. Shane Matthews never really showed how good of a player he was. Jaquiz Green was never a great player in the NFL. I mean, you don't have the couple of flashes of good years from those players that you do with Kiko Alonso, who really was playing well in Buffalo, and they just scored. Even though that was pretty damn good coverage, sometimes that just happens. What the... Come on, man. I'm as disappointed in that as just frustrated. I couldn't have done anything better there, outside of sack the quarterback. I really could not have defended that play better. Maybe John Carney will miss the extra points. He was known to do that. You got it. So here we are, tied at 10. Is, I think, exactly what happened in the first game against Denver. Sorry if this is giving you deja vu like flashbacks here. Offense started out well, really couldn't get anything going in the second half. What we need is a big kickoff return from Carter. And that's not terrible, but is that ooh, face mask? Okay, that's even better. Alright, 36. Better than nothing. I thought that was a horse collar, which I think is actually more. I think that's 15. So, here we are. Shotgun, as you do. Where's that one play that I was just murdering people with in the past couple of games? Is that slot Z chair? Or just hit whoever, Tiki or Rondane or whoever out of the backfield? And they'd gain like an automatic like 25 yards. See if that works here on all pro mode. Well, not with a pass like that. To answer my own question, no, it does not work like that. You have deep cross. Let's... If Amani ends up one-on-one, I'm going to throw it to him. Oh, and he's ended up one-on-one. And I'm going to throw it to him. Damn! Ah! That was just an overthrown ball, and I did dive for it. Fortunately, couldn't come down with it. That's disappointing, because that would have been huge. That would have basically set up for the field goal. I might throw to him again. Maybe Hillard. If he's one-on-one, if he's got to step on a man, I might throw to him. Toomer, if he can cut back. And he does, and he makes the catch. Okay, hey, here we go. I'll call timeout. Damn, yeah, 132 yards, 1 touchdown. That's pretty good. Dervicius going to the corner. He's the go-to guy. If not him, possibly Toomer. If not him, Hilliard. So, yeah, it'll be Toomer. And that was just a wonderful pass from Kerry Collins. Now let's go with the tight end flag. Let's follow what Mr. Madden has to say. 6 for 16. Overall, not a great day for Kerry Collins. Who might I move? Cross. So I'm going to have him going over the middle here. She doesn't... I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just hoping for anything that works. Shit. Shit. Okay. Well, we got it out, and it was not intercepted. So again, it's 3rd and 10. And the game... I gotta just look at these plays before calling them. What the hell is this? We got a wide receiver screen here, but we got 2 men on the left and only 1 guy covering. So snap decision is the fullback. Hey, Camella doing work, doing his job, the thing we hired him for. Better than he has been the first couple of games. So if nothing else comes out of this game, Camella finally got his shit together. How many timeouts do I have, by the way? I have 1. Okay, so if I don't end up out of bounds here, I'll probably call timeout and kick the field goal. I mean, if I get sacked, I'm definitely calling timeout and just going to Hail Mary. But, fuck, okay. Yeah, damn it. I know I threw that into triple covered, but I thought I had him for a second. And nobody else was open. So it is 2nd and 10, which means I am going to go again deep. Maybe I shouldn't go deep. Maybe I should go short and make it an easier field goal. So, say I go to Dervicius here. Or cross. Or, damn, Hillard will be right over the center. And I do have a timeout. Oh, shit. Okay. Damn, I got all this, like, set up. I'm like, I'm going to do this well. This is going to be how it goes. And then... offensive line lets you down again. I got none of my best players on the right side of the field here. Only one of them running across. I'll throw Dixon in there as a kind of buffer. Luckily, even if nothing comes out of this, we are definitely going to overtime. Hey, oh, we got 1 more play. Just when you go to go-to guy, find Kerry Collins, and you do Hail Mary, because Madden 2002 is set up to do that. Can I move anybody? No I can't. Okay, that'll be a high snap. Fuck you, man. Come on. And we'll go to overtime. Very important that I win the coin toss here. And I don't. Alright. Well, this will be the choke of the century, if I lose here. Got a 10-point lead in the first quarter. I mean, well, it's not really the choke of the century. I mean, the Broncos did that in the Super Bowl once. So we got... Alright, within the 5. Hopefully they don't take that too far. Deuce McAllister. Damn, I haven't heard of him in such a long time, man. Deuce. And it takes like 4 men to bring him down. That's pretty accurate. So I am gonna. How many rushing here? 6. It hasn't like been terrible this whole game rushing. I'm just blitzing. Ah, fuck. Well, I'm gonna lose this game. Unfortunately, hate to break it to you now. Spoiler alert. I have no self-confidence. Because Aaron Brooks is tearing me apart, which is a very bad sign for your team. It is coming down to the wire, though. The Saints aren't a bad team. So. That would be a playoff team. Theoretically, I don't know that it would be a playoff team, but... Second and 8, so that's good. And they only got 2 yards out of that. I haven't been able really to get to the quarterback. They've been killing me on these draw plays. It's that 3rd and 6 now. Drop zone. I mean, but I don't want to blitz because it hasn't worked at all, you know. And Ricky has been getting past the defensive line basically every play here. Granted, he's only gained 2 yards in the past 2 plays. That's good. Oh, there we go. Okay, defensive line coming up with a sack. Was that Strahan? Yeah, that was. Okay. I'm gonna try to punt block, even though I've never been able to get a punt block. Sometimes they'll line up really short in an attempt to defend, like to cover the punt block. And so that ends up being actually a little bit better in terms of the return, but that'll go within the 5. Okay, so that will be a touchback. So I got 80 yards to work with here. Alright, back to normal. So, here we go. Basically, we've only been successful on the big play so far today. Kind of fluky and just there's nowhere to go. The offensive line's not opening up holes. The linebacker is always right there just to get to you. So it feels like I cannot succeed on anything today on offense. Maybe that's just a factor of Madden 2002 as a game. It is historically, I mean, every time I've played Madden 2002, it has been geared towards the big play, the long bomb, and that's what works. That was when I used to play with the Vikings, and that was like the best thing you could do, was just chuck it deep. Because you had Dante Culpepper, who had the greatest arm in the history of Madden. I mean, at least in terms of strength. And he had Randy Moss and Chris Carter, who could basically just... with the drop of... I'm trying to think of some sort of idiom that would say they do it all the time, and they're very consistent on just going up and getting the ball. But I don't have that here. I have Tiki Barber, and I have Amani Toomer. Amani Toomer's pretty good. Joe Jervicius. I don't know who I'll go to. Probably Hilliard, assuming he's open, unless Jervicius gets open over the center like he did on that last play. And he doesn't. So I'll just throw it very far out of the stadium. That's good. 3rd and 1. Slot pick flats. Oh, okay. Well, that is an interesting play for Madden to recommend. Computer Madden, Robo Madden, whatever. to recommend here. Oh, God. There we go. Okay, that is good. And he is still on his feet. Shit. Amani Toomer. Making some plays. I like the disappointed Saints players in the background. I like how, first of all, they are modeled and not just like cardboard cutouts like you would see in earlier games. In other games, too, I mean. Or just in some of the NCAA games, they just didn't have numbers. They were just guys like stock players just standing there on the sideline. Okay. I have not given the ball to Greg Comello this entire game outside of that one pass play, and I don't intend to. Let's see what Tiki can do. Okay, alright. Get a yard or two out of that. It's not terrible. He's technically beating Ricky in terms of yards gained today. I'm going to Greggy here. I'm never calling him Greggy again. I'm going to call him made it to the line of scrimmage Greg from now on, because that's all he does. Well, at least he can get there. I'm going to Tiki Barber now. Hopefully he can get there. Okay. I did this in the last game, and it worked like a charm. Where I moved a receiver over to block the defensive back. We got the fullback. Oh, it's Rondane. Shit, was that? Yes. Haha. There you go. Bellamy coming in clutch with the face mask. And I am going to kick the field goal here on 1st and 10. Holmes. He's missed one today. He's made another one today. Clutch. Final seconds. Field goal, final 40 seconds. In overtime. Second overtime game of the season. All comes down to this. Not really, because it could be a tie, but that's good. Los Angeles moves to 3-1 on the season here in Madden 2002 on Sports of the Day. Thank you for watching both parts of this game. It has been a great week. Tomorrow I'm going to start up a weird little series that I hope to continue. It's going to be kind of like a trial balloon or maiden voyage or whatever on this series. I'm going to start tomorrow, called ENSFG, which stands for Every Nintendo 64 Game, where I try to play through every Nintendo 64 game. Hope you guys are excited for that. We'll see you around. Have a great night's sleep, and see you around again. I'll say that twice. And